The Enclave are one of the oldest factions in the Fallout series, yet they remain one of the most mysterious. They claim they're the remnants of the United States government, but we didn't really get any more of an explanation than that, and we didn't really need one. That was until Fallout 4, in which we can find an unpublished newspaper article that details the existence of Control Station Enclave. The reporter cites this as evidence that backs up the existence of a shadow government called the Enclave. Which, I mean, it doesn't really. If you look at the meaning of Enclave, it's a territory that is completely surrounded by a different territory. So, an oil rig surrounded by the ocean, for instance. If anything, it's more likely these rumors of a shadow government exist because of the oil rig. So, from Fallout 4, at least we still had plausible deniability that the Enclave were around pre-war. Fallout 76 screwed that, though. I don't know if Bethesda based the Enclave lore off that article in Fallout 4 or what. I'll get to that in my next video, though. The point is, as far as I know, Fallout 4 was the first time in-game that the Enclave was implied as being around pre-war. If you think I miss anything or get something wrong in this video, feel free to tell me in the comments. So obviously, the idea of this video falls apart with Fallout 4 and Fallout 76's Enclave lore. But I want to look at the Enclave before Fallout 4. I know that sounds like cherry picking, but Fallout 4 and 76 aren't the most friendly to older Fallout lore. So why don't you humor me and listen to my case for why I think the Enclave didn't exist before the war, and just pretend that Fallout 4 and 76 don't exist. So what exactly do I mean by the Enclave never existed before the war? Well, I think the Enclave is the government remnants, or at least the descendants of them. The Enclave is what the government became after the war, not some entity that already existed. The shadow government idea just seems like a cop-out. I'm not denying that corporations often have too much of an impact on government, more so in the Fallout world, but it should be up to the player to decide whether the mistakes of the past damn the Enclave forever, or if they really are the best hope for the wasteland. With the shadow government idea, it feels like a shortcut. Instead of getting us to decide, them being a shadow government just makes them automatically evil. Enough of my tangent, though. The place to start with the idea is the symbols used. The iconic E surrounded by stars was created for Fallout 3. Before this, the Enclave didn't have a symbol they used. In Fallout New Vegas, this symbol appears on the Remnant's power armor as well as their vertibird. However, this symbol doesn't appear on those places in Fallout 2. Obviously, because it wasn't even created by the time Fallout 2 was released. If we take this as a retcon, fine. The E symbol was created sometime after the war, but if we take this as canon, that the E wasn't on their gear in Fallout 2, well, that could be interesting. Because it could mean that potentially, if the remnants of the Enclave after Fallout 2 regrouped at Navarro, maybe they created a new emblem, a new banner to rally behind, a new Enclave. That would explain why the remnants in New Vegas use that symbol at least. This idea will come up again in this video though. Either way the symbol was created, there's still no pre-war technology that uses it. This symbol has only been seen post-war. Everything from before the war that's marked with any symbol is marked with old world symbols. On the presidential floor on the oil rig, there's multiple presidential seals and multiple American flags. Even John Henry Eden's terminal is marked with an American flag. There's no hint of the Enclave from before the war. The next thing is the dialogue. What I find intriguing is how Eden talks about the remnants of the government. He refers to the remnants of the government twice. First, when he talks about them retreating to the west coast. Then, when he's questioned about the origin of his plans, he responds saying that the remnants of the government had the same idea years ago, which is obviously referring to the West Coast Enclave's plan to release the FEV Curling 13 into the air. For both of these cases, Eden calls them remnants. If the Enclave was indeed an organization before the war, then they wouldn't be remnants. If it's to be believed that the Enclave was around pre-war, then the entirety of them should be in the bunkers or remote locations that they built. The position in the Enclave would surely take priority over the government if Eden was part of the same group.
Hey, editing me here, and I forgot to mention that Arcade actually describes the Enclave as a remnant of the pre-war government, so there's that, but on with the video.
It just doesn't add up. Eden is very pro-government, not pro-shadowy organization controlling the government. What does add up is the Enclave being the remnants of the government. As Eden refers to them as such, what the Enclave would be is the remnants of the government that were formed after the war. The remnants on the East Coast retreated to the West Coast, to the oil rig. And that's where the Enclave was formed, out of the ashes of the old world government. Perhaps this is even what Richardson is referring to when he talks about the government adapting after the war. The only question left is, why the Enclave? Well, what better to name this new group after their headquarters and their current position of isolation that they are in? The oil rig is also known as Control Station Enclave, as it is an enclave and it is the control station of the government. The oil rig, however, is also called simply the Enclave. Even President Richardson refers to it as such. While the code name for the rig is Control Station Enclave, it seems that it is commonly known by the people who use it as just the Enclave. So that is most likely where the name comes from. Hey guys, so I know it's been a little bit since I've uploaded. I have been pretty busy, and I've also been going back and forth on which of the next two videos I should actually work on first. So I obviously decided with this one, but the next one's like a quarter to halfway actually written. You might see that in the next 2 weeks or so, but I am obviously, like I said before, pretty busy, which I should be good around basically the start of December. I'll get back into regular upload schedules then. Until then, if you have any questions, because I know I probably missed out on a few things in this video, just go in the comments and ask them. I'll try my best to answer all of them, at least that I feel need answering. So, until, I guess, either a week or early December, see you next time.